This video is sponsored by KEKS Camera and Accessories.
Today I'm going to be using my 6x9, my Texas LEICA, which is something completely out of my comfort zone. I never usually shoot anything other than 35mm. So today we are delving into medium format. So normally with older cameras or cameras that don't have a light meter, I just use Sunny 16, and I'm pretty confident in my Sunny 16 skills usually. But for something like this, when I'm shooting 120, it's probably like $50 when you add everything up, like the film, the development. You're only getting 8 exposures. I really want to make sure that I am on point with my exposure and I'm not just like, throwing it away. So that's where a light meter can come in handy. And I'm going to do a fun little challenge today by putting my own Sunny 16 metering skills against a proper light meter. I've got the KEKS KM-Q Light-Metre, and they are kindly sponsoring today's video. So we're gonna walk around, we're gonna shoot these 8 photos, and then I will meter by eye, and then we'll put it against the KEKS Light-Metre and see if I'm right, and see if I'm as good as I think I am at metering. So a lot of people have different theories when it comes to exposing for like quite a dynamic scene. Some people say to expose for the highlights or the shadows, depending on like how much kind of contrast you want in the scene, and you can really manipulate that and make it how you want it to be. But something like this, where there's a lot of, shade and then there's a lot of really, really bright light, I kind of go for something that's just sort of like in between both of those readings. I am no metering expert. I'm definitely not a technical photographer, but when I am metering by eye, I am often shooting in this beautiful Australian weather, which is very sunny. So I do end up at f11, f16 like most of the time, but there are definitely shaded areas where I see really cool things that I want to shoot, and I feel like that's when it gets a little bit murky for me. So using this here as an example, and just to sort of demo how this KEKS Light-Metre works, I'm just going to wake it up. So I've got Kodak Gold in here, so that's 200 ISO, that's set, and I'm on 250 shutter speed, which I normally kind of hang around there. I'm not shooting like moving subjects like you would if you're doing street photography or something like that. Everything's pretty static, so that makes it nice and simple. So just for an example, I'm going to point over here to like this scene, which is like very bright, and we're getting 16. So I'm right there. And then pointing down here towards where the shaded area is, I would probably guess this would be like around maybe 4, like F4 or 5, because it's pretty shaded, but then there's a lot of like light here. So that's where I get like, I don't really know. So let's see what the light meter says. Oh, it's gone to sleep, sorry. Yeah, so it's 6.3. So, it's just a lot more accurate than what I'm able to kind of ascertain just from looking at the scene, which when you're shooting medium format, or you're just, a photographer that really wants to get it right, because I know that there are a lot of you like that, this is like super handy. So I'm really interested to see how this photo walk is going to go and how the results will look when they are, bang on properly exposed. I found a scene I really like. This building is blue and white and the sky is beautiful today. It's like a full hectare sky, even though I'm shooting Kodak Gold. And I like the power line that's going across the top here too. So I just need to get my composition right, which takes me a little bit longer when I'm using a camera that I don't normally use and I'm not familiar with. This has a like a patch, like a rangefinder patch for focusing, which I'm again not used to, but the patch on this is pretty clear, so it's quite easy to use. Half the building is in shade and then half the building is in sun, and that's kind of what's making this scene really great. So I would, if it was just me with my camera, I would go, that wasn't me cheating either, it's not on. I would go 16, because it's in, even though half the building's in shade, it's in full sun. So that's what I would do. Maybe I'm just lazy though, and I'm like, it's sunny, so it's f16. So let's find out what KEKS say. All right, my ISO is 200. Okay, let's hold up. It's saying f13. Interesting. I really thought it was going to say f16. All right, cool. So 13. And this has like little clicks in between 11 and 16. All right, so I'm on 250 in between 11 and 16. Man, this feels so slow for me. Like film photography is really slowing me down right now. Normally I'm like, all right, this is really heavy too. And like turning it portrait, which is how I like to shoot, isn't the most amazing ergonomic experience. But things we do for YouTube. All right, so I'm gonna get a little bit closer because I don't want the hedge at the bottom, but I do want the power line. All right, I am focused. 1, 2, 3. All right, first shot in the bag. The Texas Leica doesn't really have a great shutter sound. It's a leaf shutter. Normally that's really super quiet, but as you maybe heard, it's quite loud and clunky. It's something to do apparently with the film counter on this, and you can disable it, but I like to leave it on because I want to know that I've taken the photo when I'm shooting something as serious as 120mm. Lol. So advancing, looking at lux, like,
yeah, it's a double stroke.
Double stroke, yep. All right, so 1 and 2. I'm not actually going to take a photo of this building because I've already shot it, but this is completely in shade, so I thought it would be good to just see what the meter says. I would go like, because it's like completely in shade, but then there's like, you know, a lot of ambient, really bright sunlight around it, so that always kind of like, you know, throws me off. But I would say like maybe 5, like f5. So let's have a look at what the KM-Q is saying. F10. Saying F10. That's, so I was way off. The Light-Metre is saying 10, and then now it's sort of saying F9 down here. So yeah, I would have said 5. So that's super interesting. But yeah, maybe we'll get a little tally going because right now it's like KEKS to Lucy 0. Gonna get a real workout with this. Got a really lovely flower here. I know it's a bit of a trope, but the color is just beautiful, and I'd love to see what it looks like on Kodak Gold medium format. So in this scene, we're looking at mostly sun, but like a little bit of shade. So, and it's also blowing in the wind, so I might have to change my shutter speed maybe a little bit. I would say probably F8, I reckon, for this. So let's put it to the test. F8, baby, woo! Just for all the viewers, Lux was like, it's definitely F11 and it's not. So double points for Lucy. This is fun. This is making medium format shooting a lot more fun. Okay, so let's take the photo. I'll just change my f-stop to 8, and I'll keep it on 250 because it's not blowing like in the wind now, so it should be fine. I feel like I'm doing like a photography like course. All right, ready, 1, 2, It's a bit premature there. Okay, cool. Second shot in the bag. There's a really great, like, minimalist, clean, amazing shot here, so I have to take it. And I would say 16 for sure, like pretty certain. So let's see what the Light-Metre says. It's saying F11. I guess it makes sense it's saying F11 because I'm on 250, not like 125. So that's set to be slightly underexposed rather than overexposed. So I guess like part of a stop kind of makes sense that it would read like that. But it's been really interesting because yeah, I am very much like beautiful sunny day, shooting a scene that's pretty much in all like full sun, I will always just go with 16. So yeah, this has been very eye-opening. So I'm sure there's a lot of people that will comment and that will have a lot to say about this because people get really passionate about like metering and being technical and like getting everything right. But for someone like me who obviously I understand the exposure triangle, but I shoot in a very like lo-fi way, and being able to shoot with something like this can be quite difficult for me. So having a light meter is really great for that reason. And I think if you are someone who's starting out, you're shooting with old film cameras that like don't work properly, don't have a reliable meter, and you don't want to just be burning through film and you want to build up your confidence and kind of understand the scenes and the exposure triangle better, a light meter can be really, really great for that, especially something like this that's like small. It's fairly inexpensive as well, and it's not like this extra thing you have to carry around like the Sekonic light meters and like all those ones. Like this is super compact and will slide onto any hot or cold shoe and comes with like different mounts. So yeah, it's like designed for analog cameras, which is great. We love that. I know you can also get light meters on your phone, like there's different apps and stuff, but like the last thing I want to do when I'm out on a photo walk is like pull my phone out to check the light meter, because then I see I have a notification or an email, or you just jump on Instagram and then you're kind of like pulled out of the zone. And then, you know, it just takes you out of the whole kind of photo analog experience. So yeah, I think that this is great from that point of view, that you're not like relying on your phone. It means that you can go out with your camera on a walk without your phone if it's safe and possible for you to do so, and like fully switch off. We've taken 3 shots. Normally I've taken like nearly like half a roll or like a whole roll by now. So it's a totally different shooting experience. And I think it's cool to even do this for me to remind yourself of like what it is that you like about the way you shoot, or kind of highlight that, because you can kind of take that for granted as well. And every time I shoot medium format, it really like solidifies my love for 35mm. But I am really interested to see these photos, and the negative, like the 6x9 negative, absolutely like it's just blows you away when you see it. Like it's half the size of like your iPhone, you know what I mean? Like it's bigger than what you would be seeing on Instagram, or like around about the same size. So to have a negative like that large is crazy. And we've taken some really great portraits with this, which is obviously probably more what this camera would be like geared towards. It's a professional camera. I don't really think it's made to be like wandering around. Lux just told me that it was specifically designed in Japan to take like tourist photos and like group photos, which is really interesting and not what I would have expected it to be used for at all. And that's not what I'm using it for. But walking around with a camera like this, we see it a lot on YouTube, but I do think like the price of that film, the like cumbersomeness of the camera, and then just like the inconvenience of it all, it's not, for me, it isn't really conducive to sort of just like wandering around with it. And I want something a lot more compact, a lot more freeing, and a lot more economic. But it's a really cool camera. It looks really cool. And I love when Lux shoots it of me. We shot some XX and I loved those portraits. What else did we shoot? We shot some on a fashion campaign recently for a brand, and those photos like really, like the compression and just like the 3D kind of quality just made them look really editorial. And to me, that's where something like medium format really, really stands out. So it's reading f20 for this scene. So that's not really ideal. I don't really want to be shooting anything over f16. So what I'm going to do is change my shutter speed to 500 and I'll change that on here as well because they don't talk to each other obviously. So super easy, just like click of a couple of buttons up and down to change your shutter. Okay, so it's on 500 now. All right, and let's read now. It's at 500 and it's saying 16. Awesome. I feel like I can get a run on the board for that one. Okay, so I might stay down low like this to try and get the framing right. Oh, there's like some people walking too, so might be able to use them in like the other part of the frame. So I'm just gonna wait for these like two people to walk kind of closer to like the right side of the frame to create some, I don't know, what do you call that? Composition. There we go. Nice. Oh, it's so warm today. It's so nice. It has actually been pretty cold, but today is particularly nice. Getting the shoulders out. So we're halfway through the, we're halfway through the roll. So I've got 4 shots left. I would like to find maybe some more dynamic scenes that we can sort of play around with a little bit and test my skills against those. But we'll just have to see what we find because that's what it's like on a photo walk. Sometimes we walk for ages and then like obviously you guys just see like a condensed version, and I always get very hungry towards the end and start getting very, very grumpy. So I'm looking forward to the post photo walk meal. It's suddenly gone overcast and ominous, and I've seen a really great scene over here that's got a lot of good symmetry. So I'm gonna go over and then I will come back and tell you what the Light-Metre said and what I thought. Typically, as I went over there, the sun then popped its head out again, but it can be really hard in that situation if you've already seen something, you are metering for it by eye, and then it's changing as you're composing. I would have said, to be honest, I don't really know, because it was like, it was cloudy, then it was sunny, and it was looking to me like it might be sort of like F8 or 11, but the Light-Metre said F16 at 250. So it ended up being like pretty bright, obviously. All right, so I'm gonna meter for this Sitcho from over here on. It's giving me F13 here. All right. Quite like this scene here. There's like a pine tree and there's a lady on her balcony reading. So I want to be quick, so she doesn't move. This scene, I would say maybe like, I'd say F11, like F11, F8 possibly, but I'd probably go F11. Lock it in, Eddie, F11. Let's see what KEKS say. That was a very Australian reference too. Ooh. F10. So close. Yeah, there's a notch. Yeah, I like these notches on here. Okay, cool. All right, I'm gonna get her while she's still there. Such an underwhelming shutter sound. We have a little tradition on our photo walks. We normally finish the roll off with a picture of me. So I thought it would be fun to put Lux to the test and see what he would meter this scene as. So what do you reckon?
It's the scene. I'm gonna go.
What do you reckon?
Just 16.
16.
Because I want it to be a bit overexposed.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll see if you're right. Annoyingly, Lux was spot on, 250 f16 as he predicted, but in true Lux fashion, he had to make it like more complicated. He went with f8 500 because he wanted a shallower kind of depth of field, which is what he does a lot in his portraits. So I'm excited to see. That's it. Roll is finished. 8 photos down, $40 to $50 in film and development out of the bank account. I'm gonna ship the roll off to Ikigai Film Lab, and I'm excited to see the photos. You've already seen them. And I wanna say a huge thank you to KEKS Camera and Accessories for sponsoring today's video and making this photo walk happen. I love the KM-Q Light-Metre. Everything is linked below if you wanna check out the things that they have on offer that are designed for analog film shooters like me and you. I am not a technical shooter and I do get very overwhelmed by any type of change, and I found this extremely easy to use, very cute, very compact. So if I can do it, you can do it. I like the stock. I like the Light-Metre.